Birthday present to ex-wife. I was informed you'd like this. I had initially put it in another thread, but it was recommended I share it with you, so there you have it. Gather round, boys and gals, for it's time to hear my unfaithful ex-stale wife's and how I her. Now, bear with me because this is going to be a lengthy one, but so I suspected she was cheating since she raised a lot of red flags. When I inquired why she was laughing and smiling so much while texting, she said it was just her mother. Every night after work, I had to remain late. When I called in, her coworkers reported she had departed hours before. When I asked her what was going on, she'd chuckle and explain it was simply something they did all the time at work. The last straw for me was when she left the house to fetch milk at 11:30 p.m. and didn't return until 2 a.m. If there is any piece of advice I can provide to people based on my years of experience, it is to a private investigator if you suspect your significant other is cheating. They're excellent at what they do, and they'll collect some proof that will be really useful in the subsequent divorce. Fast forward to her birthday, which is coming up in a few months. I know what you're thinking. Why did I wait months before confronting her, and did it have to be on her birthday? The answer to the first question is that I wanted to gather as much evidence as possible to provide to my lawyer while also making plans to locate a new place to live, etc. The answer to your second question is of course on her birthday. When I asked her what she wanted to do for her birthday this year, she insisted on my going out of town with my friends since she had to work anyhow and didn't want to be reminded that she was getting older. So I knew something is wrong after discovering a bottle of champagne and 2 glasses concealed in my closet. So I do what any reasonable guy would do. I leave and go to a friend's place, claiming to be leaving town. I phone her mother, father, sister, and numerous of her friends while I'm there. I tell them how I plan to surprise her by sneaking into her room with party streamers, kazoos, and a large cake with candles. Isn't it exciting? That was a lot of fun. It's 8:30 a.m. and I've gathered everyone outside our apartment. We all pack into the elevator, about 8 of us, her mother carrying the cake and me asking everyone to be as quiet as possible. We all sneak in and make our way down the hall towards the bedroom after I insert my key and open the door. Each is carrying a kazoo, and Mom is beaming from ear to ear. As I fling open the door, we all exclaim, "Surprise!" But then my wife appeared, bending down in a doggy stance, with her boyfriend looking at us wide-eyed mid-thrust. Mom spills the cake, her sister cries, and her father starts to yell. I act frightened, and her buddies attempt to shove everyone out while shouting at her. Wife, ex-wife, is crying and yelling, "How could I?" as the lover urgently tries to put his trousers on while fleeing the scene. Needless to say, it was one of the most memorable birthday gifts I've ever given. Story 2. My 31 male girlfriend, 39 female, is talking excessively, and it feels on purpose. We've been dating for 3 years, and I'm not a morning person. I've never been, and it's been exacerbated by the fact that I'm a light sleeper. The blue light on a cable box can keep me awake, and my girlfriend has sleep apnea and snores like a lumberjack. She tosses and turns a lot due of her sleep apnea. I don't sleep well, so I'm a walking zombie in the mornings until I've had a glass of water, coffee, and breakfast. My girlfriend is also a talker, which has never been a problem since she has always appreciated the fact that I'm not and can spend an entire day without speaking. However, during the past 2 weeks, it seems that she has suddenly forgotten and begins having these in-depth talks every morning, which may go one of 3 ways. I yes her till she says, "Oh, I forgot, don't speak to you in the mornings." Or I just remain quiet and she accuses me of being grouchy and unpleasant. Or she becomes angry with me and we quarrel. It's beginning to feel purposeful. Another reason I believe it's on design is that she only speaks a lot when I'm doing something for myself or watching a program I want to watch, etc. Please allow me to clarify. I work from home temporarily due to COVID, but my job requires so much of my concentration that even when I'm at home, there are days when I can't even leave my desk to refill my water, much alone eat lunch. My GF's work, on the other hand, is now set up such that she gets home by noon every day due to COVID. Most days, she does her own thing, but lately, it seems like an increasing amount of time, she comes up and sees that I'm working or on a call. And even though I explain that I'm busy or on a call, She tries to start a conversation, hovering over my computer, which feels very invasive, and then gets frustrated when I don't talk back. Sometimes after work, I like to relax, so I'll come downstairs and just want to zone out for about 30 minutes, which isn't an issue if a program she likes is on. No chatting, no asking me about my day, nothing like that. However, if I put on a program that I like, the floodgates open and I am unable to watch the show. And she speaks in this manner where it's dialogue, and then these long gaps before she resumes. Alternatively, if I'm reading, she can hear me reading. I actually have the book in my hand, and she will simply speak to me. It's come to the point where I simply block her out since it seems so deliberate whenever I take time for myself or do something for myself. And it's never anything she's interested in talking about, because when I suck it up and attempt to speak back, she simply cuts me off or redirects the conversation since she couldn't care less what I have to say. I'm beginning to feel like a jerk, but I can't get the idea that it's controlling or planned behavior, especially since it's been at lot worse recently. Edit. I'd want to add out that we have date night every week, whether it's going out to dinner, watching a movie, building a blanket fort in the living room, seeing cover bands, etc. We also try to cook together every night. And we do our best to spend actual quality time together every day, no phones or anything. Sometimes it's just a half hour, and other nights we binge watch half a season of Schitt's Creek while holding hands and giggling like fools. Update. Hello, everyone. I just wanted to say that I am reading each of your replies and cannot thank you enough for taking the time to provide me with input and insight. I heeded your advice and we spoke when she came home, and I took a lunch break. Take that, corporate chills. It turns out that sleep apnea runs in her family, and her grandmother even required the operation in which they cut down the roof of the mouth. Simply she's been afraid to be checked out, so she's put off seeing to an ENT. For years, she stated that she is aware of the issue but has been paralyzed by fear. Tomorrow, we'll have a tele session with an ENT to request a sleep study. Fortunately, I have a fantastic ENT who performed my sinus surgery earlier this year, so I'm certain she'll be in excellent hands. We also discussed sleep, and she advised, surprisingly, that I sleep in a new room every couple of nights to catch up on sleep. She also owns a dream machine, which she hasn't utilized throughout our relationship since she knew I was a light sleeper and was afraid of keeping me awake. As a result, we'll be using it as well. We evidently both like the sound of thunder and rain when sleeping and agreed on that sounds. We also discussed communication, and she revealed that she's been feeling particularly needy since beginning to come home early. Everyone she knows is usually working, and she gets so ready to speak to someone that by the time I sign off from work, she's aching to talk to anybody. I stated that I believe she was doing it on purpose, and added that it seemed that way since we could sit in peace during Housewives, but would have a lengthy talk if I switched to Entourage. We had a pretty wonderful chat about being more honest about our wants and communicating more on both sides when one of us needs to speak or needs some quiet time. It really seems like a great weight has been lifted off both of us, and although I feel like a jerk for presuming it was on purpose, I really appreciate all of the excellent, non-judgmental advice I received today. Thank you very much.